Grizzly. Okay, joining us to discuss whether these controversies will take a toll on the president's re-election bid, Democratic pollster Margie Omero, Romney, Virginia campaign co-chair Barbara Comstock, and the New Yorker's Washington correspondent Ryan Lizza. Thanks to all of you for being here. Ryan, I'll start with you. Do you think the Secret Service is going to be a political story come November? When does the White House have to really step in on this?
Well, Sarah Palin just turned it into a political story. I don't think it was a political story until she said that.
April, yeah.
I mean, she has a right to be a little offended here. What this one agent said on his Facebook page was, that's the most outrageous thing I've seen in the whole scandal so far. Protecting her and making a sexist comment on his Facebook page. It's pretty bad. She has a right to be mad. But to blame it on Obama, I haven't seen any evidence yet of what's come out that this is a White House problem, that this is a presidential problem. Mark Sullivan, the head of the Secret Service, seems to be handling this quite well. He was appointed in 2006 by Bush.
Right.
He's universally respected, and so far the steps he's taken seem to be pretty good.
Although it's dripping out, which is never good for any scandal. Let me ask you, Barbara, Mitt Romney tried to link President Obama to another D.C. scandal and link this to that. He was asked by the National Review about the GSA and the culture of waste in the federal government, and he said, quote, "I think this example starts at the top. People have to see that the president is not taking elaborate vacations and spending in a way that is inconsistent with the state of the overall economy and the state of the American family." So is it really fair to say that the GSA conduct was somehow linked to the way President Obama lives his life?
Well, I think he went on further to talk about, as president, what he'd like to do is he would be on that job, and for 4 years he would focus on jobs and really not be as distracted on all the other things. And I think that was really the bigger message. You know, I think the GSA scandal is certainly something that we're disgusted with and all. I would like to comment on the Secret Service thing, only because I used to on Capitol Hill work with so many of these Secret Service agents and say I do think it is such an aberration of Secret Service. The vast majority, I'd say every Secret Service agent I ever ran into was wonderful. So I think we do need to point out that this is an aberration. I certainly hope it's an aberration. That's why that one is so shocking.
And you don't say that that should be linked to President Obama?
Well, no, I think it's, but I think getting the investigation and make sure the management that is there at the Secret Service takes this seriously, because you can't have that kind of negligence and carelessness by Secret Service agents. I'm surprised that they're out drinking and doing that thing in that context in a foreign country. That doesn't make sense, and it's not consistent with anything I ever saw when we were overseeing their activities. They were the best of the best.
Oh,
and
so
we need to make sure
you are blaming it. It's a President Obama thing, huh?
No, I think the point I'm saying is we need to get to the bottom of it and have a good investigation.
Margie, on the other side of the political aisle, Joe Manchin, a Democratic senator, says that he's unsure whether he will vote for President Obama. Is that particularly bad news for the Obama campaign at a time when they need I mean, he's a moderate. They need the support of every moderate they can get.
Look, I don't think that's bad news for the Obama campaign, and that's Joe Manchin, Senator Manchin's right to say what he thinks. On the other side, you have Republicans trying to have a loyalty test, and you have delegates being asked to pledge their loyalty to Mitt Romney, and they're refusing to do so. You have Governor Mitch Daniels coming out and criticizing Mitt Romney. You have Republicans who are very tepid in their endorsement of Mitt Romney. So you have Joe Manchin, maybe Joe Manchin on the one side, and a whole host of tepid endorsements for Mitt Romney on the other side.
But it does reflect that people who are in precarious political waters themselves maybe don't want to get too far out there with President Obama.
I think Senator Manchin, he has been a moderate. He has been that since he got elected and in his campaign, and I don't think this is really a departure.
But I think you're going to see more of that, because you look at something like the polls out in Missouri. Ms. Caskill is running far behind her Republican opponent in swing states like West Virginia.
She raises a good point with Mitch Daniels, because Mitch Daniels, a Republican, said of Mitt Romney to the Indianapolis Star, quote, that Mitt Romney must not spend the precious time and dollars explaining what's at stake and a constructive program to make life better. As I say, look at everything through the lens of folks who have yet to achieve. Romney doesn't talk that way. He's criticizing the way Romney ran his primary campaign and said he should run it as if he's looking to govern.
Well, I think one of the great things now that Governor Romney is clearly going to be our nominee, and everybody's coming together, is you're going to get the good advice of all the candidates across the country. Mitch Daniels is a great asset, Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, and what I'm seeing in Virginia is everyone coming together. And somebody like Joe Manchin is going to weigh into Virginia because we're right on the border there with West Virginia, and believe me, he has a big impact down in coal country and the areas of Virginia where Obama has really turned off moderate Democrats, and that's why we.
No, but good for Mitch Daniels. I mean, I never criticize a politician when they say something honest. That's what we all want. And good for him. You've got all these other Republican candidates running for vice president, sucking up to Romney. It's nice to have Mitch Daniels out there offering some constructive criticism and saying what's on his mind.
He speaks truth to power?
A little bit, you know. That's not always been his reputation, but it's hard for me to criticize someone when he's being honest.
Okay, let's listen to Jeb Bush, who has previously said he will not accept the vice presidential slot if offered. And now he says?
Well, I'd consider it, but I doubt I'll get a call, and I don't know if it's the right thing for me to do. I think Marco would be among many great candidates for vice president. I think Marco's probably the best.
I mean, my rule on people who may or may not be vice president is ignore absolutely everything that is said by any of them between now and the day they're picked. It doesn't matter if you say absolutely Sherman-esquely, I will not be your running mate. Or if you say, yes, I will, whatever you say doesn't matter. When you get the call from the nominee, everything changes.
But I think that this comment really can hurt Romney with Latinos, because let's say he doesn't pick Marco Rubio and instead he tries to pick Jeb Bush, and then he further hurts himself with Latinos.
Why?
Because he's ignoring the strong advocate from a leader in the party who says pick this popular Latino. He would bypass that, go to Jeb Bush, and it would just further alienate Mitt Romney from the Latinos. He's doing terrible with Latino voters. He releases an infographic. That's his extent of his...
You really think he can lose with Jeb Bush?
We're getting really way away from the whole issue. We have a lot of great candidates for vice president who I'm sure Governor Romney will be looking at. And I think we have an embarrassment of riches, and Marco Rubio is among them.
Right.
So if others want to jump in, I think Paul Ryan obviously has gotten a lot of attention. He's someone who's seriously looked at the budget and I think taken on the president very seriously on the health care bill and the budget problems in a way that has been great. So we're going to have a lot of good candidates, and they're all going to be out there campaigning across the country, no matter who's the vice president.
The question on Rubio is you came out with a very interesting immigration proposal this week, and the great question is, will Romney embrace this or not? It's a bit of a risk.
We're waiting to see. He's saying he'll study it. Thanks to all of you for being here on a Friday evening. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Good to see you. And Aaron Burnett out front.